on. There we go. Hi, I'm Willie Bragg. I had some random thoughts in my head before I decided to go to sleep, and I just thought I'd share it with you because just something just been very, very much getting under my crawl, and that's why I left the thing on a title to be determined because I want to think of something snazzy that's going to pretty much get to the point of what I'm trying to say. And basically, it is this: I am tired of seeing actual leftists get accused of being right wing for accusing the Democratic Party of governing in a conservative way. It's just something that I have seen developed recently, but when I think about it, pretty much it's been the case for many years. I mean, I remember over the years getting involved in independent politics and doing petitions for socialist candidates or Green Party candidates, and being lectured, well, you're just going to give your vote away to the Republicans. And, it's just like, for some who are like actual corporate Democrats, they'll wag your finger at you and tell you, well, you're just going to have to accept it this way. This is how America is. You better accept it. You can take it or leave it with what we got. We'll do next to nothing for you, but you'll really, really get screwed over by the right wing if the Republicans win. And so that's what's always happened. I mean, in 2000, when George W. Bush stolen the election in Florida, Ralph Nader would be vilified from here on. Now, I voted for Ralph Nader several times in my life, and I'm proud of every vote I have for Ralph Nader in 1996 and in 2008. And I'm proud of my vote for David McReynolds in 2000 and Walter Brown in 2004 and Jill Stein in 2016 and Howie Hawkins in 2020. And I'll do it again. No regrets at all. Yeah, I voted for Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party in 2012 because there was no independent party of the left or independent candidate of the left on the ballot here in North Carolina, and I was mad at Obama, pretty much pissing on the left. So there you have it. But it comes down to this. It comes down to corporate Democrats, conservative Democrats, blue dog Democrats doing very Republican light things. It's akin to what Tony Blair did with his New Labour project in Britain. The bright side is that the left somewhat were able to get back their Labour Party from a neo-Thatcherite like Tony Blair. Keir Starmer, who is the current leader of the Labour Party, ain't no Jeremy Corbyn, sadly enough. But I think that he better not go back to being a Tony Blair type either. Now I have this photo here. Is a sketching of, let's see, the Zago brothers. And is basically a sketching of various people on the online left. Not all of them were listed up there, and and that's fine. I mean, there's just so many of them, but this is a good representation. Jamal Thomas, Jimmy Dore, Max Blumenthal, Lee Camp, Richard Medhurst, Fierell Isabel, Chris Hedges, Glenn Greenwald, Conrad Patty, Nico House, Craig Jardula, Tim Black, Graham Elwood, Ron Placon. And there are others out there that to be mentioned. But the thing about it is that a lot of these folks, they get attacked for attacking or criticizing, highly criticizing corporate Democrats. Now, some of these personalities may not like each other per se, but it's still a good representation of people who are public figures, so to speak, on the internet that goes and criticize the Democrats from the left. And a lot of these folks are now being accused of being right wing. Now, I mean, and some of these folks here, they have a perspective on vax that I disagree with, but I don't think that being critical of vaccinations and critical of the way that the U.S. government is handling COVID, because let's face it, our government's not handling COVID in a correct way. I mean, I've thought about this last night, that we had COVID, still no universal health care. And I thought about it this way. What if some terrorists, whether they're domestic terrorists, white nationalists, or Middle Eastern terrorists, or what have you, what if they did something really fucked up and nuked a section, nuked a city or something like that? I bet you our U.S. government would not grant health care to those who are suffering from a nuclear blast. That's how fucked up it is in this country. And so, you think about things like that, and then all of a sudden you just kind of like, is there any hope? And we have Democrats who are supposed to be our progressives against the reactionary Republicans. And what do? They do absolutely next to nothing. I mean, look at this Build Back Better piece of shit plan. It was kind of decent at 3.5 trillion, and then it's down to like 1 trillion. It's not really doing anything, and a lot of it's a lot of corporate welfare at this point and means testing. Whereas the plan that was originally drafted at I think it was like at $10 trillion, it was one of the most bold plans since the New Deal and Great Society. And now it's just a watered piece of nothing in the tradition of New Democrats like Bill Clinton, New Democrats like Barack Obama, and New Democrats like Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden might be the least bad between Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden himself. And that's only because there's a little bit of the traditional Democrat in him from the 1970s. But he's still a New Democrat. He got on board with the Democratic Leadership Council. He voted for the free trade agreements. He voted for things like, bankruptcy, where people who file for bankruptcy are really screwed over. He did the crime bill. It was called the Biden bill. So, even though he is now a marginal improvement to what he was in the past, it is still not enough, and I still call him a New Democrat. The only thing I can give him credit for is pulling out of Afghanistan. And that was base, but that's about it. But he's not really doing anything else foreign policy wise elsewhere around the world. So, for anything good I could say about Biden, there's still 10 or 12 or 20 things I could say that's really bad about him. But then again, when you have a Republican president, for every good thing one could say about a Republican president, there's usually 100 things that are wrong with that Republican president. So there you have it. So, as I said, Ralph Nader was, blamed in 2000 to this day. And what's fucked up about it is that Ralph Nader is vilified by the Democratic Party for bringing us George W. Bush, what I call, in my lifetime, the worst president this country had. Sorry, Democrats of today, the vote blue no matter who crowd. Donald Trump sucks. We're not going to debate that. But George W. Bush was worse. The thing about it is, because of the Trump derangement syndrome, George W. Bush became buddies with the Democrats. And of course, as they became buddies with the Democrats, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. And what happened is that Ralph Nader is still blamed, and the Democratic Party tried to have it both ways in a lot of ways, and it's ridiculous. I do think that I need to show y'all something here, because it's something that I think is very relevant. And hold on a second, I do want to find it. Give me a moment here. If it's here, I'll be glad to show it to you. Yes, it is. I want to show y'all something. Alright, hold on. Let's do this here. Okay. I made this because a while back in 2018, George W. Bush and Michelle Obama were embracing each other. George W. Bush and Michelle Obama. Somebody photoshopped it and put in Donald Trump's head because of a fear of a more right-wing president down the road. But I think this is what I could see this scenario happening when right-wing Marjorie Taylor Greene becomes president. Old enemies will become allies. You see this photo with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Donald Trump embracing? Don't say I didn't warn you that that's going to happen down the road, because I think it will happen. So, y'all need to see my face doing this. I'm so sorry. Call it lack of sleep. But that's basically what it comes down to. And here's the thing about that. Corporate Democrats selling out the left because they're scared to govern. And then the Republicans will take over next year. And as the Republicans take over, I know I'm going to hear it from the corporate Democrats. So it was Ralph Nader was the pariah. Then it became Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein. They became the pariah. Now it's going to be the squad. They're on the hit list next. So we're stuck with Clintonism. That's so true. And so when Jimmy Dore calls them all out, he's called right wing. When Glenn Greenwald calls them all out, he's called right wing. If Tim Black calls them all out, right wing. If Fiorella Isabel calls them all out, she's called right wing. If Jackson Hinkle calls them all out, he's called right wing. And the thing about it is, for many years, this person has been called out too. One of my favorites too, actually. If I can find it. Just gives me an opportunity to do this too, by the way. So, yeah, she went ahead. She's been called right wing. And it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And it is very tiresome that people who criticize the goofiness of the Democratic Party, they criticize them from the left. And maybe they might criticize them a little more than they do the Republicans. But I look at it this way. Criticizing the Republicans is easy. On this program, I criticize the Republicans a lot, but I also criticize the Democrats. and I see a whole lot wrong. Now, thing about it is that sometimes it's a little overkill. I mean, I would not exactly look at the squad and think no different from Mitch McConnell. I wouldn't think that. But but the thing about it is that AOC is becoming the new Obama. She's becoming the new Nancy Pelosi, and it's really sad to see that. I'm hoping, and I tried to have a little bit of faith that the squad would get their act together, but they have coalesced. And I think, again, I've said this before, that none of us who are on the outside know what it's like to be a member of Congress. But at the same time, the people who march for Medicare for all, or march against the wars, or call for freeing Julian Assange, yeah, I don't mind making the establishment, even people who are our allies, a little bit nervous. We want them accountable. That's why I've supported things like Force the Vote. And and as I said, this is why I support Medicare for all marches, and whatever it takes for the Democrats to do what they're supposed to do. Because if they do not capitulate to the left, then those of us on the left that favor a Labor Party, we feel like you don't have any reason to criticize us. And so anyway, it just that's basically what I want to get out of my chest right now. And it's just a stream of thoughts I had. So I'm going to look at my chat line here. And Progressive Rising, how are you today? Let's see, this is why I want to immigrate to Canada or New Zealand. I've been to Canada, never been to New Zealand. Would love to visit New Zealand, love Canada. AOC in a couple of years will become the next Harris, only because they want AOC to be senator or president. That is why she is becoming a corporate Democrat. Now, AOC is actually serving one positive purpose. Even though it's a small little victory, as much as I despise Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, in some ways, I think that she's pushing him to the left. In other words, he would be more of a corporate Democrat had she not been there. Because I think he's fearful of an AOC challenge in the primaries. And more likely he would defeat her in the primaries, but, he still would not like to see that happen, because it would be very disruptive to his arrangement. AOC is becoming the new Kamala Harris. I'd rather vote for Buttigieg than AOC. Pete Buttigieg. At one time, he actually sounded okay when he was on. He almost sounded like he was like a young Bernie Sanders initially. And then all of a sudden, he started grifting toward a corporate center. So I was, that's why, just not particularly impressed with Pete Buttigieg. The UK, I would love to move to the UK. I will, one of these days. Let's see. AOC running for president. She's going to have to mature. And she's going to have to not be a doormat to Nancy Pelosi or any of the other corporate Democrats. That's just the bottom line there. So anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Let me add that feel free to share the content on this channel and subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm a little exhausted right now, so I'm about ready to hit the sack. So anyway, until next time, take it easy. And good night.